Shalom, everyone, and welcome to WOW equals Words of Wisdom number 20. Decision without discipline leads to frustration. There have been so many times where I have made a decision that I was going to stop doing something and start doing something else, or the opposite. And I made the decision, but afterwards I did not walk in discipline. So I did end up in frustration. And as I've continued to live my life, I have learned just how important it is to live a life of discipline. We serve the Most High Yah, who is the ultimate in discipline, in self-control, in the fruit of the Ruach HaKodesh, how he manifests it in perfection. And we have to grow in levels of discipline if we are going to grow and be able to fulfill the decisions that in the things that we have decided to do. We can't just, live a life where we are out of control, undisciplined, just doing anything that we want to do, having the you only live once mentality, and think that we are going to do the things that we decide to do and not have any level of discipline in our lives. It's just not going to work. We are supposed to be disciples of Yahushua HaMashiach. That means that we're supposed to be following the examples and the discipline that he left for us as an example. And more often than not, we may be doing things that's the total opposite of what we saw Yahusha do during his earthly ministry. And so we have got to go back and look at the decisions that we are making and really examine, have we developed any level of discipline in order for us to stay true to the decision that we have made, so that we don't end up in frustration over and over and over again. I know there are times that I have made a decision to do something, and it may be a year later, and I haven't fulfilled that decision to get whatever done. And a year later, I'm frustrated, or a year later, I'm griping, or I'm upset, or I'm complaining because I'm not where I know that I should be, based on the decision that I made a year ago, 5 years ago, that I was going to do something. But because I didn't walk in the level of discipline that I needed to walk in order for me to, fulfill the decision that I had made, I ended up in frustration. And many of you may be going through some of the same things, where you just seem like you're going round and round and round, and you're making decisions to do something or to stop doing something, and nothing ever happens. And I know that procrastination is a big one in the lives of people, just constantly putting off until tomorrow the things that you should be doing today, right now. And, some people are like, I'm not growing in my relationship with the Most High Yah. I'm still fearful. I still don't know how to pray. I'm still, having problems with, lust or anger or bitterness or whatever the situation may be, with gluttony. I'm still overeating. I still don't get enough physical activity. Whatever the case might be, I'm still cursing people out, and I still can't hold my tongue. And I made a decision, 3 weeks ago, that I was going to do better with, how I communicate to people, and I wasn't going to have blessing and cursing, come out of my mouth. But you're undisciplined. So while those decisions may be good ones, what have you done in the area of walking in new levels of discipline in your life, so that you don't end up in consistent frustration? And I'm saying this out of experience, because I have, been frustrated over and over and over again about certain things in my life. And the fact of the matter is, it's because I wasn't walking in discipline. Now you got to figure out why you're not walking in discipline. You got to figure it out, because sometimes there's a root there, and it may be demonic. It may be that there is something that has been planted in there, some demonic activity that has gotten in through a doorway, through an entryway, through a crack, through a crevice, and the Most High Yah is trying to expose that to you. And so you really got to go before the Most High Yah in prayer, and ask him and say, look, I've been making decisions, to get better at this, to get stronger in my prayer life, to really start getting into the scriptures more, or whatever the case might be for you. And before I know it, I'm not reading the word like I'm supposed to. I'm not spending time in prayer. I'm overeating. I'm still lusting. I'm still cursing people out. I'm still, dressing provocatively. I'm still looking at somebody else's husband. I'm still looking at somebody else's wife. I made a decision that I was going to stop doing ... I made a decision that I was going to be a better father. I was going to be a better husband. I was going to be a better mother. I was going to be a better wife, whatever the situation may be, but you're not, disciplined. So you end up in frustration, or you end up committing the same sins over and over and over again. You got to figure out why. You got to figure out why you're not disciplined in a particular area. You got to figure out why, you're not functioning the way that you should be in different areas of your life, and you're undisciplined. So you end up in frustration. And sometimes it's not just as simple as, well, I just don't have any self-control. You got to find out why. You have to find out why. And this is when you go before the Most High Yah in prayer, and you ask him to show you, why am I undisciplined in my eating habits, or, in what I look at and what I listen to and what I say out of my mouth and how I wear my clothing, or whatever the situation may be for you. It's something different for each and every person, and so you have got to get a hold of it, whatever it is for you, where you're making decisions and you're not walking in discipline, so you end up in frustration. When you ask the Most High Yah to expose to you what the real deal is, and why you're having a hard time, following up on the decisions that you're making, and why you're so undisciplined, he will show you, he will expose to you what the root is, what the issue is, why you're so undisciplined, and what you need to do to be able to develop a level of discipline to back up and gird up the decisions that you're making, so that you're no longer ending up in frustration, But now you're walking in victory in that area of your life where you've made a decision to live in a transformative way. This is what it's all about. Really being transformed, not just changed, because you can be this way one day and you can turn around and change in another direction the next day. But we want to be transformed by the renewing of our minds. And for, it starts there, really. What are you thinking about? What are you thinking about? What is your mindset about the situation or the circumstance or the thing that you've made a decision about? And you may have to look at how you're thinking about that and what is your perspective? And are you really looking at things with the right mindset in order for you to be able to walk in discipline in that particular area to back up your decision? So take the time out to think about that. Decision without discipline leads to frustration. And if that's you, I know it's been me, at so many times throughout my life. And I'm like, why am I having so much problems, with this particular area of my life? Why does it seem like I'm in a vicious cycle, year in and year out with this particular thing? Why am I, like this, in this area of my life? You just want to go, we've got to learn to go to the Most High Yah in prayer and seek his face and listen to his voice and hear his voice and his counsel above all others. And we can't be afraid to hear what he has to say to us. And we have to be willing to humble ourselves and submit to him and be willing to follow his direction and his instruction concerning this. Because the fact of the matter is, a lot of the people of the Most High Yah live the most undisciplined lives. And to be honest, that should not be named amongst his people. But it is. So we have to learn how to walk in discipline so that we can really, stick to the decisions that we're making in our lives to live better, to be better. As children of the Most High Yah, as people of the Most High Yah, to be salt and light, in the earth, to be those set apart examples that the Most High Yah is calling us to be. And so people won't see us living our lives in such a way that we're in this constant vicious cycle and living in frustration, but they will see us living in victory. So I just want to thank you for joining me for WOW equals Words of Wisdom number 20. And I pray that you have a positive, powerful, and productive day. Shalom.